Hey, and welcome to the 𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗃 PodBLAST, real talk in bold, bite-sized episodes. I'm Debi Potgieter, and in each couch-style conversation, we sit down with local thought leaders to unpack the stuff that shapes how we think, lead, and live. No fluff, just relatable insights in under 15 minutes. Because around here, we believe in one thing: we make every interaction count.
We've heard it all before. Money can't buy happiness. But what if that's only half true? What if money, when used mindfully, could open the door to deeper meaning, to freedom, and to joy? Welcome to 𝗵𝗍𝗵𝗃 PodBLAST. I'm Debi Potgieter, your host, and today we're exploring a fascinating question. Can money buy happiness if we spend it the right way? Just another disclaimer, this conversation is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It should not be taken as financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial professional before making personal financial decisions. Back with us today, financial strategist and behavioral thinker, my favorite Eugene Drotskie. Welcome, Eugene.
Thanks, Debbie. Great to be back.
From steal to service. Let's start with a story, Eugene. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in the world. He didn't just build his wealth. He found a way to transform it completely. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about it?
It's a wonderful story, Debbie. He tells a story in his autobiography of him as a 13-year-old boy going per ship and emigrating from Scotland to the United States. He had to start work as a teenager in a cotton mill, 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts, clearly before the labor laws of today. He moved on to become a manager in the railways, and they had to build iron and steel bridges. Eventually, he got exposure to the steel business. I think he was one of the first guys to appoint chemical engineers to look at iron and steel. He built up a very, very successful business, and in 1901, he sold that steel business to JP Morgan, the famous bank. That's today the biggest American bank. He then became the richest American alive. His wealth surpassed that of John D. Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. Well, when we were young, all we wanted to be were little Rockefellers. I realize now we had it totally wrong. We should have been little Carnegies when we grew up. I'm not a little Carnegie now, and I'm still growing. I've got chance. But I understand, Eugene, that his legacy was about lifting others, and this through libraries and concert halls and education. Tell us more.
Absolutely, Debbie. In 1889, he wrote a famous article called The Gospel of Wealth, calling on the rich in society to help improving society. I'll quote him directly. He said in that article, "Wealth is not to feed our egos, but to feed the hungry and to help people help themselves." So for him, Debbie, money was a tool. It's what you do with it that creates the contentment, the meaning, and the purpose. So from 1901, when he sold the business, until he died in 1919, for about 18 years, he just spent his time on philanthropy, giving away. His legacy includes local libraries in the United States of more than 1,600 libraries, then also in Scotland, and even as far wide as South Africa, so 2,500 libraries worldwide. And I discovered the other day that even at the Stellenbosch University, the library was known as the Carnegie Library, given his donation in the early 1900s. He also did a lot for technical education and created a technical institute in Pennsylvania that today is known as the famous Carnegie Mellon University. And then scientific research is another part of his legacy that had an enduring impact in America, but also worldwide.
There is nothing better that you could do with your money than to gift it to someone in education. And we look across Africa and we say, what can education do for this country?
Exactly.
And so he really did leave a legacy that inspires us every day. And so now we want to have a look at the science of spending well. And so what does research say about spending and happiness?
There's a wonderful book on spending and happiness, Debbie, called Happy Money, The Science of Happier Spending. The authors are Elizabeth Dunn and Michael Norton. And they give us 5 themes, and I think that rings true. It resonates with me. The first one is to cover our necessities, the bare minimum, to say, what do we need for our own survival and for looking after our family and our friends? And this gives us peace of mind. So that's a no-brainer. The second one is bypassing materialism, not looking at money purely to acquire things, but really to focus on the simple life and enjoying the small things in life, the free things in life. The third one is to value experiences over acquiring stuff. Imagine traveling, learning, experiencing new things rather than acquiring. My understanding is that the youth of today also place more emphasis on experiences rather than the boomers of acquiring homes and vehicles. Fourthly, buying time. We can now outsource to other people those activities that are chores and that we don't find valuable. And then finally, spending on others, the generosity of giving, not only money, but in time. And this brings us a full loop back to Andrew Carnegie, because he was ultimately all about generosity and philanthropy.
That's amazing. The truth behind it all is that the secret isn't about having more. It's about the conscious choice of how you're spending that money to bring in that happiness.
Exactly, Debbie.
So I'd like us to move now from wealth to well-being. How do we apply this, Eugene, to everyday life? We all can't be, and we all aren't, Andrew Carnegie. So how does that play out for everyone else?
Debbie, we can start small in our everyday life. We can, for example, prioritize one happy money principle and say this is the thought for the day or for the week. To ask ourselves, when spending money, is this spending activity creating a memory for our loved ones, family or friends? Does it enhance a connection, nurture a relationship, or does it provide peace of mind while we invest for the future and become financially independent and free? We have to be intentional about giving money. And one of the things that we can do in our everyday life is to seek and look for opportunities to be generous. It need not be a big amount. It could be for great service at a restaurant or at a petrol garage with a petrol attendant. And just that element of generosity, of giving, often, Debbie, gives more joy to the giver than to the receiver. So really we can start small and be very practical about it and do something every day and every week, yeah.
I relate to that. I love, love, love what you're saying. It's not about the size of that wallet. It's about the story you are writing with the money in that wallet. So, Eugene, thank you for helping us reframe how we see wealth, and that in a way, money can buy happiness. And to our listeners, what's one way you could spend differently this week, not to impress, but to bring meaning? Share your thoughts with us. Tag 𝗟𝗓𝗍𝗏 or send a voice note. Your insight might just inspire someone else's shift. This is 𝗟𝗓𝗍𝗏 PodBLAST, where we remind you wealth isn't about what you keep, it's about what you create.
Thanks for joining us on 𝗟𝗓𝗍𝗏 PodBLAST, where we believe every experience counts and small insights spark big shifts. Follow us for more episodes, tag us with your takeaways, and let us keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay human.